A possible warning sign that your preschool child is experiencing anxiety could be the development of new habits such as nail biting, hair twisting, nose picking. So, when you begin to see these habits developing, best not to draw a lot of attention to them. Uh, what you focus on expands. So, when a child is biting their fingernails, to say, stop biting your nails, or there's too many germs in on your fingers, stop putting them in your mouth, only brings attention to it and makes the child even more anxious. So it may help to be aware that any kind of behavior that is new and repeated, like nail biting or even knuckle cracking, hair twisting, is actually just an energy release for something that's going on inside. So, what's the best way to help a child release what's going on inside in their emotions? Well, that happens with, first of all, building trust with your child, asking questions more than you're telling the child what to do, listening, repeating back what you heard the child saying, not correcting a child in the middle of them telling you how they're feeling, um, no judgment, just total absorbing and listening to what you're hearing. And then maybe asking back, so why do you think you feel that way? Or, that's interesting. How could you, what could you do to help yourself feel better? So asking the open-ended questions where you're giving the message to the child that they're capable of figuring this out for themselves, or that you are not going to tell them how to think, but you're going to encourage them to think about possible solutions or possible understandings to how they're feeling. Uh, I have found from what parents have told me that one of the best times to talk to your child, well, there's two good times. One of the best is when the child is tucked into bed at night, um, ready to fall asleep, but not, quite, to sit down with the child, even without lights on, or maybe just a soft light, and maybe you're rubbing the child's forehead, and maybe, tickling their back or whatever, and to have a conversation. So it could be anything you've noticed. So what's on your mind? So tell me one thing that maybe you think about a lot you don't want to think about. Or is there something that possibly, you wish was different today? Um, what were some good things that happened? So at bedtime to talk about, so maybe the child, it's amazing how often it'll come out that, well, there's a kid in my school and he always makes fun of me and he tells other kids not to play with me. Now this is preschool. So, there are things that are wearing on a child's mind that unless you really get them, when you're spending some real close connected time to be able to open up and talk to you. Now, another time that I have found is good time to talk to a child is when you're driving in the car. So now what this means, no devices in the car, no iPads, no tablets, no phones they're playing games on, because it's a perfect time when they're sitting, just gazing out the window, watching the world go by, that you can have conversation. The radio doesn't have to be on, or maybe it's just some soft music, but it's a perfect time to ask some open-ended questions in a very gentle way, not in a way that the child can feel like defensive or, and don't be surprised if the child says nothing's wrong or no, I don't like school. Well, just because. So it's going to take time. The child needs to believe it's a safe place for them to be opening up and exposing themselves to you. So that just comes without judgment, without over over directing a child. When you're always telling a child what to do, you're giving the message that they're not capable of figuring things out for themselves. Um, so those two times to find out what could be going on that's causing these new habits to appear. Um, you could also then, if it doesn't seem to help and the child is continuing to bite their fingernails and their nails are getting real short, and to say, look at my nails, look how I'm able to take apart Legos with my fingers. Do you wish you could do that too? Well, do you want to work on trying to remember when you put your fingers up to your mouth that you kind of stop, or maybe find something else to do, maybe just go for a quick run outside, or the point is there's energy, and it's nervous energy that's coming from emotions that are unsettled that are finding a way to come out. So I hope this helped. Uh, try the conversation. Try even talking to the child about what it would be like to have some long nails so you could take your Legos apart real easily. Do you want me to help you work on that? Do you want me to point out when I see that they're in, that you're biting your nails? Do you want me to just tap you on the shoulder? Maybe together we could help you break this habit. Habits are very common, but sometimes habits mean that there's things you want to talk about. So please, I'm here for you. I love you, and I want you to be able to say anything you want to say without any fear of getting in trouble or me making fun or laughing at you. Okay? Deal? High five. All right, give me a hug.